So to be clear, you are committing that within 5 years there will be clean water for all First Nations?
All those 93 communities, yes.
We've always been told that water is sacred. It takes care of us, it connects us, and it heals us. But access to clean water isn't equal. It can also be stolen and taken away from us. For many, this loss is all too familiar. Since we visited Grassy Narrows 6 years ago, work has begun to heal the harms caused by toxic water. The water treatment plant was finally upgraded after years of living with unsafe drinking water. Mercury poison, however, has found a home in Grassy Narrows in the bodies of its poisoned residents, affecting generation to generation, from grandparent to child. This crisis has persisted for over 50 years. And while the mercury remains invisible to the eye, it is felt in the absence of its victims. Steve and Simon FOBISTER were taken from their families and their community much too soon. The two former chiefs of this First Nation dedicated their lives as outspoken advocates for justice for the residents of Grassy Narrows, a fight that continues today.
There's two issues to do with water in Grassy Narrows. One is mercury poisoning, which is 10 tons of mercury that we got that was dumped by Dryden Mill. And then you get poison through the fish that way. And then the other side is the water emergency. That's a fixable solution through the water tower, filtration system, and water intake.
My grandfather was Steve FOBISTER Sr. He was a chief/grand chief of GD3 area. He had so much knowledge and everything, like he knew well about the land, and he had so much information, about what was right and wrong in the land, And he explained in high detail of, what was wrong with the water and why it was poisoned, and, he really spoke up for everyone.
The water treatment plant has been upgraded recently, and I don't know how effective it will be, but to me it's still a bandage.
The last 20 years we've had so many boil water advisories and all that, and I think people have learned to not trust the tap water.
I'll use my grandson as an example. He's 5 years old right now. His whole life, that's where our water comes from, is the big blue jugs, right? So one day we went to stay in Kenora, and we were in a hotel room. I grabbed water from the tap, and he kind of freaked out. He was like, no, don't drink that water. He's like, it's dirty. In 2002, when we put up the blockade, it was all a part of just having enough of everything.
And the blockade's still up. It's 2002. It's been going on for 20 years, and we're going to keep it going. And it is right now the longest running blockade in Canadian history.
Where we had the blockade, there's a Sundance ground there now. Little by little, there is healing happening. Our way of life, it gave us a purpose, and that was robbed from us, and then now we're fighting to get that back, and to give at least, the younger ones a chance to feel that, to to be okay, I guess.
It's a big fight we're in right now, like to survive as Anishinaabe people.
If there's no water, we would die of thirst. But we want to live.
The list of advisories that most Canadians have seen are long-term drinking water advisories that are over 1 year in length. It really is the tip of the iceberg. Many nations who face long-term advisories on their individual systems that are never reported in the news and never make, public knowledge. No one really knows about what's happening.
Many people have been living under boil water advisories for such a long time that we understand the frustration. And sometimes the hopelessness that many people feel is like, well, I've been struggling with this for so long, and you guys can, you can have your conversations at those other tables, but what does that mean to me? So trying to change the narrative, even within our own communities, to say that not only do we hear the concerns and the frustrations, but here are some actual tangible solutions on the ground that we're starting to address.
I think it's important to educate everybody, inspire them, and also show them like we can gain access to clean drinking water.
So when it comes to First Nations, again, for me personally as a leader in my community, I'm not asking for sympathy, I'm not asking for pity, I'm not asking for special treatment, simply would like respect and equality. We are all treaty people.
Access to clean water isn't equal and is threatened by corporate pollution.
Water is life-giving.
Water is our responsibility.
Water is medicine.
Water is healing, powerful, and alive. Never stop speaking up for the water. Never, never stop.
Clean water is still inaccessible to too many people across this land. We have reached our boiling point.
Kiss away.